This is the PickBits Daily Signal for Thursday, July 2nd, your signal in the day's tech noise. Here's the lineup. 1. Someone found hidden code in Claude Code that had been quietly checking whether you were in China. 2. There's a bill in Congress that would make it illegal to sell the health data you type into an AI chatbot. 3. A booby-trapped web page can talk your AI browser into handing over your passwords. And 4, on the brighter side, a robot pharmacy that fills a prescription every 30 seconds just raised money to reach the towns that lost theirs. Let's get into it. This is the PickBits Daily Signal. Story 1. This one stings a little, especially if you use these tools to write code. Here's what happened. Since April, Claude Code, the command line coding tool a lot of engineers run, had a hidden check built into it. It quietly looked at whether you were in China. It read your system clock for the Shanghai or Urumqi time zones, and it scanned your proxy settings for Chinese domains. Then it signaled the answer back to Anthropic using steganography. That means it hid the signal in plain sight, tiny edits to the system prompt you would never notice, a swapped character, a tweaked date format that Anthropic could read and you could not see.
New developments from Anthropic are shaking the global tech market and challenging older companies. As artificial intelligence moves faster than laws can actually keep up, traditional industry leaders face a very difficult future. However, behind this technical progress...
That goal is real, by the way. Stopping people from lifting your model is a fair thing to want. Here's where I snagged, though. Just over a week ago, we covered China building AI to flag its own citizens as risks. And here is a US lab quietly building a check for where you are and who you work for into a tool sitting on your machine with deep access to it. The goal was never the problem. The hiding is the problem. Because a covert check like this always gets found, and the day it does, it costs you every user who trusted the tool. So if you ship AI developer tools, say what your software phone's home, in plain words, and if you run Claude Code somewhere sensitive, pin a version you have actually checked and route it through something that watches what leaves. Send this to whoever owns security on your team. Story 2. For a while now, we've been tracking what actually happens to the things you tell a chatbot about your body, the symptoms you paste in, the lab result you ask it to explain, the prescription you photograph. Under a lot of these terms of service, that text becomes a company asset.
The last time you shopped online for a pair of shoes, did the ads follow you for days or even weeks? Well, your internet provider knows far more about your browsing habits than Google, Facebook, or Amazon.
This week, Senator Elizabeth Warren and Representative Mary Gay Scanlon put forward an expanded Health and Location Data Protection Act, and for the first time, it explicitly covers the data you type into AI systems. The original came out of the Dobbs decision back in 2022, and it was aimed at location brokers. This version widens it to ban selling that data, including the health details a chatbot pulls out of you, into the roughly $300 billion data broker industry. It puts over $1 billion behind the FTC to enforce it, and it lets the FTC, state attorneys general, and ordinary people sue. And notice what the bill actually goes after. This isn't really about whether the AI gives good medical advice. It's about what happens to the most private thing you handed it after you close the tab. So the move this week is small and concrete. If you use ChatGPT or Claude to make sense of symptoms or a lab result, assume that text can be stored and under a lot of these terms, sold. Don't paste anything that identifies you, and go dig up the training opt-out. Most tools bury it. Share this with anyone you know who treats a chatbot like a walk-in clinic. Story 3. Okay, this one matters if you've started letting AI browse the web for you. A security firm called LayerX found an attack they nicknamed Bioshocking after the game where the characters are conditioned to obey, and the trick is almost funny. A booby-trapped web page runs a little puzzle that rewards you for wrong answers. 2 + 2 is 5. Nice work. Once the AI browser accepts that the rules of reality are up for grabs, it stops questioning what comes next. And what comes next is the page walking it over to your logged-in GitHub and quietly copying out your SSH keys. No alarm, no warning.
Jeff, I've outsourced the hobby to AI agents.
Okay, I'm almost afraid to ask, but go on. Which hobby?
It's collecting books. So I tell an AI agent what I'm looking for.
They tested the big ones. ChatGPT's Atlas browser, Perplexity's Comet, Anthropic's Claude extension, and 3 others. Every single one fell for it. And the response is almost worse than the trick. When LayerX reported it, the fixes were all over the map. OpenAI patched Atlas. Anthropic's patch reportedly failed. Perplexity closed the report without doing anything, and 3 vendors never replied. So the lesson underneath this is one we keep circling. An AI agent acts on whatever a page feeds it, which means a page it doesn't trust can quietly rewrite its rules. Treat these browsers like they'll do exactly what a malicious website tells them, because right now they will. So if you run security, don't let an AI browser roam around inside your logged in tabs, your GitHub, your cloud console, your email, without a human saying yes before it touches anything sensitive. And if you use one yourself, keep it out of your signed in accounts until your vendor proves it actually shipped a fix. Follow this one, because agent browsing is being sold as the future, while it's still this easy to hijack. Story 4. Let's end on the hopeful one, but with the same eyes open, we brought to the rest. There's a company called Q that just raised $12.5 million to build a fully autonomous robotic pharmacy, and the problem it's aimed at is real. A lot of small towns have turned into pharmacy deserts, the local drugstore closed and nothing replaced it, and the whole field is short on technicians, with a vacancy rate the company puts north of 40%. So here's what the machine does. It fills prescriptions straight from sealed wholesale bottles, with no pharmacist standing at the counter. Each cell holds thousands of pills. It fills a 60-pill bottle about every 30 seconds. It covers the 280 most prescribed medications, and Q says it can do that at up to 96% less cost than a normal pharmacy.
We've been focused on reducing cost and improving quality to patients for years, and technology really gives us an opportunity to take big strides in that area.
The robot handles the dispensing. The judgment stays a licensed pharmacist's job. The drug interactions, the recalls, the strange edge case script, the actual counseling when you have a question, that is the part a real pharmacist has to keep, and the thing to confirm is that one stays in the loop. So if you work in pharmacy or health systems, treat that supervision line as something you write into the contract, not a nice to have. And if the drugstore near you is closing and one of these shows up, it's genuinely good news. Just ask who the pharmacist is and how you reach them. Send this to someone in a town that lost its pharmacy. So where does that leave the day? A coding tool that quietly checked your nationality, a bill trying to make your chatbot health data unsellable, an AI browser a web page can talk into robbing you, and a robot filling prescriptions in the towns that lost their drugstore. 4 pretty different corners of the same industry, but I'll leave you on the last one, because under all the ways AI can be pointed at you, there it is doing the plain, useful thing, keeping a pharmacy open where there wasn't one. Just ask who the pharmacist is. That's the signal. I'll see you tomorrow.